The cricketer who walked away from millions at just 24 years old never looked back, and today in 2025 his story remains one of the most shocking in sports history. Adrian Barath had everything a young athlete could dream of. At just 19 years old, he scored a beautiful century against Australia and became the youngest West Indian to do this. He had money, fame, and a bright future, but at 24, he walked away from it all for something most people wouldn't understand. Adrian was born on April 14, 1990, in Trinidad and Tobago. When he was only 11 years old, something amazing happened. He was practicing cricket with his father when Brian Lara, one of the greatest cricketers ever, saw him play. Lara immediately knew this boy was special and became his teacher and guide. This was like being chosen by a legend, and everyone knew Adrian was going to be a star. Adrian was not like other kids. He was so good that by 13, he was leading teams. At 16, he started playing professional cricket. In his first 3 matches, he scored so well that everyone started talking about him. He even broke records that had stood for over 60 years. In his very first game, he scored 73 runs and put together a huge partnership of 170 runs with captain Darren Ganga. This was a record for Trinidad and Tobago's highest opening partnership in first-class cricket. But Adrian didn't stop there. In his second match he scored his first century, becoming the youngest player in the Caribbean to score a century in first-class cricket since 1947. Then he followed that up with another century in the very next game. 3 matches, 3 incredible performances, and suddenly everyone in the cricket world was talking about Adrian Barath. Brian Lara was so impressed that when Adrian was 17, he took him to England to watch matches and made him his guest at Lord's, the most famous cricket ground in the world. The legend had basically chosen his replacement. When Adrian turned 19, he got to play for West Indies against Australia in Brisbane, one of the toughest places to bat in the world. In his first try, he only scored 15 runs and got out early. But in his second time batting, something magical happened. West Indies were following on, meaning they had to bat again because they were so far behind, and the pressure was massive. Adrian came out and scored 104 runs with such beautiful playing that even though much bigger names failed, his innings stood out. He made history that day, becoming the youngest West Indian to score a century at just 19 years old, breaking a record held by the great George Headley. He also became the first West Indian to score a century on debut since Dwayne Smith. Cricket experts were stunned. Here was a teenager playing like a professional on one of cricket's biggest stages. His cover drives were being talked about everywhere, and the way he kept the ball on the ground with perfect technique was compared to the all-time greats. His coaches said his ability to focus for long periods was fantastic and his technique was out of this world. One coach even said Adrian was definitely the best player to come from his school since 1956, and that was saying something because many great players came from there. After this, he played in the Indian Premier League and earned $75,000. For a young cricketer from Trinidad, this was serious money and just the beginning of what everyone thought would be a very rich career. He was driving a Range Rover and living the dream. Everyone thought he would become a millionaire and one of the best players ever. He played against some of the best bowlers in the world including James Anderson, Stephen Harmison, and Ryan Sidebottom from England and scored a century against them. During one tournament, he smashed 63 runs off just 41 balls. Everything he touched seemed to turn to gold. In international cricket, Adrian played 15 test matches and scored 657 runs. He also played 14 one-day internationals where he scored 394 runs including 1 century and 150. In first-class cricket he played 58 matches and scored 3,176 runs. These numbers might not seem huge, but remember he was still very young and developing as a player. The West Indies team had faith in him and kept selecting him even when he had bad patches because they knew his talent was real. But then problems started. Adrian kept getting hurt, especially his leg muscles. He had to miss important games, including the 2011 World Cup. What they thought would be a 3-week recovery took to whole months. Then in October 2011 during a tour to Bangladesh, his hamstring went again and he missed the rest of the tour. These injuries were really frustrating for a young player who just wanted to play and show his talent. His form also started dropping. In the 2013 season, he only managed 350s and averaged a very low 23.0. In 2014, his first-class form was even worse as he failed to score even one half-century and averaged only 20.37. He was going through a really rough patch and lost his place in the West Indies team after the series against England in 2012. During these tough times, Adrian started thinking more about his religion. His family were Jehovah's Witnesses, and so was his wife. The more he read the Bible and learned about his faith, the more he realized something important. Cricket was not what he truly wanted in life. While he was struggling on the field, he was finding peace in his religious community. The more he understood his faith, the clearer it became that cricket was not his calling. In 2014, at just 24 years old, Adrian shocked the world. He quit cricket to focus on his faith. People couldn't believe it. Here was a young man with so much talent, so much chance to earn millions of dollars and become one of the greats, and he was walking away. Many tried to change his mind. Coaches, former teammates, everyone reached out to him multiple times over the years trying to convince him to return. But Adrian remained firm. He didn't want cricket glory anymore. He wanted to give glory to God. His former coach said few people would make that choice when they had glory in front of them and money before them. But Adrian chose his God. The coach also said that if Adrian had continued in cricket, he would have been a rich man today, earning huge amounts from 2020 leagues around the world. Think about what Adrian walked away from. Today, top cricket players make millions of dollars every year from different leagues around the world. One of his teammates, Chris Gale, made over $20 million just from playing in different tournaments. Adrian could have easily made this much money to given his talent and the fact that he was young. He could have bought big houses, expensive cars, and lived like a celebrity that most people only dream about becoming. Instead, he chose a simple life for his faith. Now in 2025, Adrian is 35 years old and living in Trinidad and Tobago. He works for his church and helps spread his faith through ministry work. He doesn't use social media like Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. He doesn't give interviews. He doesn't make public appearances. This is completely opposite to the life that comes with being a successful cricketer. His money today is very small compared to what it could have been. While he earned from his international matches and his IPL contract when he was playing, since leaving cricket in 2014, he hasn't had any major income from the sport. His current worth is probably quite modest, nothing compared to the millions he could have earned. His focus is not on making money, but on serving his faith and living according to his beliefs. When it comes to cars, houses, and expensive things, Adrian lives a simple lifestyle that matches his religious values. Jehovah's Witnesses generally believe in modest living and not focusing on material wealth. While he did own a Range Rover when he was playing cricket, his current lifestyle is not about expensive cars or showing off. There is no information about any luxury car collection or fancy houses because that is simply not what his life is about now. He lives somewhere in Trinidad and Tobago in what is likely a comfortable but not fancy home, keeping everything private and away from cameras. This is so different from many cricketers who show off their mansions, sports cars, and luxury lifestyles online. In 2020, 6 years after he left cricket, Adrian briefly talked about his decision when people were still asking him about it. He said there is nothing more to his decision than simply moving on. Those words are important because they show he has no regrets, no second thoughts, and no interest in explaining himself to people who don't understand. He made his choice and he is happy with it. Adrian's story makes us think deeply about what really matters in life. Is it money, fame, and success? Or is it finding purpose and peace in something you truly believe in? For Adrian, the answer was clear. His faith and relationship with God meant more than anything cricket could offer. Today in 2025, Adrian Barath remains one of the most talked about what-ifs in cricket history. People still wonder what records he might have broken, what games he might have won for West Indies, how much money he would have made. Cricket fans debate whether West Indies would have been stronger with him in the team during these past 11 years. Young cricketers look at his story and have to decide for themselves what they value most. But for Adrian himself, there is no debate and no wondering. He found what he was looking for, and it was not at the cricket ground. His story is unique because he is remembered not just for the brilliant century he scored at 19 years old, but for having the courage to walk away from everything when he realized it was not his true calling. Very few athletes in any sport have done what Adrian Barath did. He chose his beliefs over millions of dollars, and he never looked back. His story teaches us that true happiness isn't always about money or fame. Sometimes, it's about staying true to what you believe in, no matter what anyone else thinks. What do you think about Adrian's choice? Would you have done the same thing in his position? Let us know in the comments below. If this story inspired you or made you think differently about success, Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more incredible stories of courage and faith. Share this with someone who needs to hear that it's okay to choose a different path, even when the whole world doesn't understand. Hit that notification bell so you never miss our next story. Thanks for watching, and remember, true success is living a life that makes you happy, not just one that looks good to others. Claude can make mistakes. Please double-check responses.